Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Dayspring Discussions, the show where we talk about movies, TV, sci-fi, fantasy, comic books. If you geek out about it, we're going to talk about it. I'm your host, Sean McGahee, otherwise known as the man who just learned what this whole Beyonce thing was about 2 minutes ago. And then I'm joined here today by Mr. Josh Del Angel, the man who finally decides to show up.
Hey, I'm like Batman, man. I show up when I'm needed.
When you're needed?
And when I'm needed.
You were needed a while ago. And you know what? If people's lives were in danger, they'd be dead, okay? If this show was Gotham, okay, we'd be underwater.
I'd say my excuse is I'm a young Batman. I still got time to mature. And
okay.
Be a little bit more reliable.
So you... Okay, all right. Robin would be dead if you were Batman. Sorry.
Replaceable. How many Robins have we had?
Just replace Robin, of course. There's so many Robins. Yes, just get another kid. Oh, that kid died. I'll get another one. You know.
Time to go to the orphanage.
Exactly. Well, guys, we've got a lot of stuff to cover in this week's show. But starting off, we've got a few things that are not on the notes. Later on, I am going to be joined, though, by the resident Doctor Who expert, Miss Lourdes Manning. She's going to talk about the new companion coming up for Doctor Who. I, of course, nor Josh, have anything really to say about that since we don't watch Doctor Who. But you know me, I like to keep it diverse. I know we talk a lot of superheroes, a lot of Star Wars, because that's what we like. But in the spectrum of geekdom, there are a lot of people who like more than that, like such as Walking Dead. I don't watch Walking Dead. Josh does, so that's one of the reasons I have him here too on the show, so he can comment on stuff like that. And then I have Lourdes and Lisa to talk about Doctor Who, just to make sure I cover all my bases, really.
Yeah, man, I'm excited for the breakdown of Doctor Who. Honestly, yeah, like you said, not familiar with the show, but there's a ton of suits in the show, which grabs my attention already. So I can't tell you how many clients I have come in that want to say, I've
had that too, yeah.
I want to wear a suit like Doctor Who. I want that look.
Yeah, I've had that too. And that's cool because, like I said, because my mother-in-law, my wife are Doctor Who fans, I know what they're talking about too. So I like that. But since we brought it up, you have not been here since the Walking Dead finale.
Yes.
And I've heard all about it from people, about the appearance of Negan? Is that how you say it? Is that correct? Negan, that's how you say it. Played by Jeffrey Dean Morgan, the Watchmen and Supernatural alumni, who's a phenomenal actor, I get it.
Yes.
Oh, yes, and he was on a little show called Grey's Anatomy, too, but we don't need to go into that as well. But, so, while I have you here, just go ahead and talk about Walking Dead, your thoughts on the finale and stuff like that.
First off, let me give my nod to Jeffrey Dean Morgan, man. That guy is...
He's a beast.
Underrated, to be honest with you.
Very underrated. Definitely, hands down.
I thought he played a great comedian. Totally captured that depiction for me. But I had no idea who Negan was. It was just all this build-up behind him throughout the season. This episode was intense, great, and at the same time, just, the Negan character I knew was charismatic, but, man, Jeffrey nailed it, and... he made the episode. I did hear a lot of complaints that the episode didn't accomplish really much.
Yeah, I heard a lot of people were disappointed in it.
Yeah.
Because I guess he was in so little of it, right?
And I was one of those, exactly. He was, at the end, it was basically, the whole episode was a red carpet for Negan to come out on. Mm-hmm. And, it's almost like the Academy Awards. Everybody's appearing to the party. Uh-huh. Finally, Negan comes out, makes his big entrance, and then that was the episode. So, it was great, but in all, I was a little disappointed. Again, what do we have to wait another year before we see the next season?
Yeah, exactly. So I guess there was
with no answers.
There was a cliffhanger as far as like he killed someone, but you don't know who he killed, right?
Somebody's dead. Somebody got their brains beaten in. But
and it was one of the main cast, right?
Definitely.
Okay.
But it's still a lot of speculation. It could be anyone from the original seasons. It could be one of the newer cast members. Granted, everybody, I don't want to do any spoilers, but people who have read the comic book, there is a storyline, and they do reveal who dies. Mm-hmm. I was surprised that they didn't do that in this episode.
Yeah, so. They kind of they tried to tease it and make people come back. I heard they really more piss people off than actually grab them to come back, from what I hear.
Oh, you should have seen Talking Dead after. The producer, I was just ready to wring his neck, dude. Just how giddy he was about his little cliffhanger that he wrote, or the screenplay writer, excuse me.
Oh, really?
Yeah, very, very into himself and his writing abilities. I wasn't happy with the ending.
Okay. Well, let's jump over to a show that we are both experts on, Game of Thrones. The game where you either win or you die. That's right. Game of Thrones came back this season with a season 6 premiere and left right off where season 5 left us, which was Jon Snow in the snow, bleeding out. That's right.
Nice.
We're gonna talk about the episode. If you haven't seen the episode and you're doing any spoils, then turn us off. Come back later and listen later on.
Leave.
As a season 1, or as an episode 1 for the new season, I liked it a lot. I felt like compared to other first episodes of the season, it gave us a lot more, a little more setup, especially with the cliffhanger with Melisandre at the end as well. Overall, I liked it. It was funny. I was sitting there watching it, and it's been a year almost since we got any new Game of Thrones. I rewatched season 5 last week and the week before, and I loved watching it. But watching new Game of Thrones, I was literally sitting on the couch just giddy that I was getting more new Game of Thrones that I had never seen before. Overall, I really loved it. I don't know. What do you think about it? Any highlights for you or anything like that?
I thought it was great. I honestly was wanting to hear your opinion on where this season premiere stands with the rest of the season premieres. 6 seasons now?
Yeah.
How do you feel? I mean, it may be too early to tell for you, but if you've seen it only once.
I think it gave us a lot more than, like I said, some of the other episode ones we've gotten, or the season premieres we've gotten. But like I said, as we're deeper and deeper into the story, into the characters, it's getting more and more intense. But I mean, overall, I was just so giddy just to watch the episode, to see what these characters are. I mean, one of the highlights for me was Sansa and Theon hooked up with Brienne of Tar and Podrick as well. It was cool to see Podrick fight,
Yeah.
Because in season 5, Brienne said that she was going to teach him to fight. It looks like he's been doing some training with her as well. And now, it looks like that group is going to head towards the wall to try to get with Jon Snow, because as of right now, they think Jon is still alive. And to Sansa's thinking, or of her knowledge, Jon is the only living relative that's still alive.
She's about to walk into that hellhole. What's going on there?
Here's my theory, because you didn't listen to my
rant.
season 6 psyched that I did, okay? That I talked for over an hour by myself just about Game of Thrones, which I hate sitting here talking to myself. I think
whatever.
I think it's horrible.
Don't. No, you don't.
I like the conversation. I like it, the back and forth
flow,
between
yeah,
it.
definitely.
Exactly. So, but in the psyched, I was talking about how in the shot in the newest trailer, you have Sansa, and she's standing there, and she's got she's wearing some kind of robe, and it's got the Stark symbol on it. Now, someone kind of fancy would have to have made that for her, so it means somewhere within the season, she joins with someone who is able to give that to her, who have a little prestige. Okay, so here's my new prediction: is that Sansa, as the only known living Stark left, and being that, again, she's the key of the North. You can't rule the North unless you have Sansa. I mean, the Bolton, even reinstated that in the season 1, that
the key.
Whoever has Sansa will rule the North. So I think she's going to go north, and as she's trying to get to the wall, she's going to find the wildlings. She's going to find the wildlings, and Jon's friend, he is on his way to the wildlings right now to tell him that Jon is dead, and probably get them to join those on the wall that are against Alliser and the other guys who killed Jon Snow. So they're going to meet up with the wildlings. He's going to tell the wildlings and Sansa that Jon is dead. Okay? So then I can see them going and attacking the wall, of course, and taking back Castle Black. But my main thing, what I think is going to happen, is she's going to use the wildlings to help rally the rest of the North against the Boltons. And I think we're going to have a wildling versus Bolton army fight.
Oh, wow. I mean, Bolton Army packs a big punch, though. So
I would get it, but you got the wildlings. These are savages.
Either way, they're going up against.
And remember, like he said, like Davos said, the wildlings owe Jon Snow their lives.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. I was thinking the whole time, man. Jon Snow died, but he planted some major seeds for them in the future.
I'm curious to see. I'm curious about Tormund too, the main wildling guy who absolutely hated Jon Snow or whatever, but he. Throughout the course of last season, he, of course, came to respect him, came to trust him, and now he hears that of his death. I wonder what he's going to do. Because, again, in the trailer, he was like, I thought he was the one to lead us through the long night.
Yeah, I think his hate for the Watchman, the Night Watchman.
The Night's Watch.
Night's Watch.
Night's Watch.
The Night's Watch, his hate for them, man, is going to overcome anything else. And
I think
team up.
If anything, that gives him a good excuse to kill some men, really, is what it is.
Definitely.
So, at this point, I'd like to give an apology. In my psych up and the last couple days, I have been saying how I don't think Jon Snow is coming back to life. Because nobody else in the show has come back to life. Eddard Stark's not back, Rob's not back, the Hound's not back, nobody's come back to life yet. And that's kind of but everyone else is saying, oh, he's coming back, Jon Snow's coming back. And I was talking yesterday with our coworker Maggie about Game of Thrones, and she's like, oh, he's coming back like episode 2 or 3. And I'm like, episode 2 or 3? Damn, that's quick. And then I was watching the Collider After show, and they're like, oh, he's coming back like episode 4 or 5. And I'm like, Jesus Christ, people. I mean, are they taking the comic book rules and bringing the characters back to life as soon as they kill them off? I mean, come on. But I was like, nobody else has come back. I think you're all crazy. That's what the show's creators want us to think. But if I've learned nothing from this show, is that they're unpredictable. So I thought, you know what? The obvious thing would be he'd come back. But if it's any indication what the show is going to do, he's not going to come back. Well, then earlier, I did a little research into the books. In the books, Jon Snow does die. He dies very differently, I guess, too, in the books than he does in the TV series as well. And there are little hints in the book that he would come back to life, that he is the one to lead everyone against the army of the White Walkers, which is what they set up in the show in the last season, especially at episode 8.
Sure is.
Which I thought that was all just build up to get us to think that way, that he's like, oh, he's safe, he's good. And then when they killed him, just, gave us fans more of that fall, more hit in the head, kick in the nuts, so to speak. But after doing some research in the books, there is tidbits about him coming back, about how he will rise again and lead the armies against the White Walkers. Now, all these hints in the books, a lot of them are not in the show. They transition stuff, but there are a couple of hints, which we saw in season 5, that he would possibly be the one to bring it back. And they hinted that Melisandre would be the one to possibly bring him back. So while there's not as many hints in the show as there is in the books, looking into that part and researching a part of that, I would say, yeah, there's a good chance he is going to come back. I don't think he's coming back soon.
I said not this season.
I would say season finale at the earliest, I think. Because it's taken us 5 seasons just to get this far with the White Walkers. Remember, the whole first couple seasons of Game of Thrones was the war between the kings, and the White Walkers were just in the background the whole time, but they're closing in, and they're still not there yet. They're still not to the wall, even. It's not going to be until really, if I know anything about telling the story, is that the Great White Hope doesn't come along until the hour is at its darkest. And until those White Walkers cross that wall and start attacking actual people in Westeros, nobody in King's Landing is going to give a damn.
I like that, though, the idea that they cross our borders, our hero arrives. It comes up, saves the day. I like that idea. I mean, Jon Snow's awesome, man.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I'd say, don't get me wrong. I want him to come back, but based on what I saw on the show so far, I didn't believe he was going to come back. But then, like I said, I looked at the books, I did a little research, and while I want him to come back, but a part of me does not want him to come back, I'm torn on that.
What part of you doesn't want him to come back?
Because it doesn't fit with I feel like it doesn't fit with the show. Like I said, no one else has come back. It doesn't fit with the show.
But in my opinion, I feel like we're reaching a new era of the show where there's more magic coming out, man.
Oh, there is. Yeah.
If Melisandre's finally revealing what she really looks like. Dear God.
How was that? They were like, all right, she's getting naked again. Oh my God.
I feel bad. It's for anybody eating and consuming food, that scene.
She turned into Dobby, I swear, from Harry Potter.
But my point is that there's been a lot more magic slowly arising with, obviously, the White Walkers. And I think it's going to create that shock effect with Jon Snow coming back, man. And then they're going to do it in a great way. I mean, Damn patient screenplay writers, dude. I swear, the guys who make us wait season after season before they answer one question, they're good. They're good.
So do you really think we're going to find out who his true parents are?
Yes. I think we'll find out that first. I think we'll find that out first, and then...
do you think we'll find out before he comes back to life?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I agree with that. I'll go with that. Yeah, I think it is true. I'm curious who alive still knows who his true parents are, though, too. I don't know who else would be... I mean, Ned's dead, and, you know, what's his name? The older gentleman that was in the Night's Watch, who was an old Targaryen, I believe it was. He's dead. The blind guy,
yeah.
He passed away. So I'm curious who else actually knows his true heritage. Maybe, you know, they'll find it out in some... Maybe he finds out in death, you know? He's in the afterlife, and they do some kind of weird, you know, spiritual journey to where he finds it out, and then he wakes up and he's like, I know Kung Fu.
Our Gandalf experience. He comes
back,
the white Jon Snow.
Jon Snow. Instead of dressed in black, he's dressed in white. There you go.
White, baby.
Exactly. To blend in with the snow. See? That's how you fight the walkers. He's got camo on.
I keep picturing them bringing Jon Snow back real pale. Just real pale, very
well,
almost zombie.
They were talking, too, about how, you know, possibly when he comes back to life, he may not be on the side against the White Walkers, but maybe with the White Walkers.
Oh, wow. That would change up
that would make me shit my pants, I'll tell you that. But yeah, so there's that. Another thing I want to touch on, Arya. One of my least favorite characters. I talked in my season 6 psych up as my top 5 characters I want to see die. She's number 5.
Wow.
I know, right?
Man, she's been through so much, dude. I want her to... She's going to be a badass.
That's what I'm saying. I'm curious if she's going to stay blind. That's kind of my question. Because this is penance for killing someone she shouldn't have. Whether she's going to go through her training, I know. Whether she's going to complete her training, I'm not sure. And then whether she's going to complete her training and then stay blind, I don't know either. I think this blind thing is just punishment for what she's done. And once she's kind of paid her dues, she'll regain her sight. She'll go pick up Needle where she's buried, and she'll head for Westeros to go join with her sister and her, you know, undead half-brother and go kick some ass.
I don't know. I like to think, in my opinion, I don't like to think that she's not going to reunite with her family for a long time.
I know.
She's gonna, and by the time she does, she's gonna be a completely different person. I always found her character very interesting. I can't wait to see her rise and power. Also, what I love about her is her whole demeanor. It almost like when she makes a mistake, she takes her punishment, but it seems like she learns from it. And she learns.
She hasn't learned, I don't think, actually.
No, I feel like she has.
I don't think she has.
And the whole blind thing, I think it's one of her many faces that once she becomes fully, you know, her abilities,
tear it off.
She can be anybody. And I think that's one of the characteristics. The other guy's eyes look like that, don't they?
I don't know.
They're silver. I think they're very silver plated like that too. So I feel like she's got a lot to unveil here. I hope. I was saying this first episode they didn't show enough of her, man.
No, they didn't. They just had that one scene of her, you know.
Yeah.
But it gave you that inkling of what's to come with her in this season. Yeah, I mean, you know me. House Stark is my favorite house. I want nothing more for all the Stark siblings to reunite. I've been wanting that since like season 2 or 3. But whether they're all going to get to reunite before they die, I don't know. Like when they actually find each other, I don't know how many of them are going to be left. Bran's coming back this season. They didn't show him in episode 1, but they previewed it in episode 2 that we'll finally get to see him back. Thank God he got a haircut instead of having that rat on his head. But so there's technically, aside from Jon Snow, there's 3 Starks left, the youngest. You got Sansa, Arya, Bran, and I can never remember the youngest one's name. He went off with the wildling girl who played, I can't remember her name, but I refer to her as Tonks from Harry Potter. But she went off with them, like, because Bran knew he had to go beyond the wall. He didn't want his little brother to go with him. So his wolf, and her went elsewhere. I don't know if they went to go find Jon or what happened, but they're off somewhere too. I think they're going to, again, hook up with the wildlings as well.
Yeah.
Which Sansa will be there, of course, you know? So I can see that happening.
Yeah, definitely. I see that happening.
A great question, too. I was like, I want to know what's going to happen with Ghost. Is Ghost going to stay with Jon's dead body? I mean, is he staying loyal? I don't know what's going on there.
Oh, man, what if Jon Snow's spirit is living in Ghost?
You know what? That was one of the fan theories from the books too.
Yeah.
That he's like in the book, I guess one of the last words he said was ghost. Like he transferred his consciousness into Ghost.
Yeah, he's in like a limbo right now. Where he feels like he's dreaming maybe, and he is actually living in Ghost.
Because remember, Bran can do that. Bran can take his consciousness and put it into
Yep.
another being like Wolf or Hodor.
Yeah.
So,
and it goes to show that there's so much magic that's starting to be unveiled within the story now.
I think
that we don't know. We don't
exactly,
know.
especially with Bran coming back. He's been in that tree for a whole season, doing some like Jedi training or whatever. So when he emerges from the tree, we'll see what knowledge he has picked up in his stay with that, whatever, like the wood nymph or whatever that old guy was at the end of season 4. I don't know. But we'll just have to wait and see. But overall, a good episode 1. Excited Game of Thrones is back. Excited to see what season 6 has in store for us. We'll just have to wait and see.
We need some type of musical theme every time we talk about Game of Thrones. We need the intro to play. Blast if anything.
Can I just sing it?
If we could work out some type of acapella group, maybe.
There is this like an acapella kind of theme I know I've heard online. The other one I thought was cool was like it's an old like video game 16-bit version of it where it's like electronics theme or whatever. If you look on YouTube, you'll find it. It's pretty interesting. That'd be cool to have too. But a theme, like we might be able to pull something up. Might be.
Sound effects.
We'll have to wait and see. Okay. All right. So let's jump off of Game of Thrones. Going to a couple of movie trailers. Yesterday, the big one dropped. The final trailer for X-Men Apocalypse came out. The film comes out on May 27th, which is just a month away. Technically, it'll come out May 26th, and I will be there for tickets. Again, I'll ask you the same thing with Batman v Superman, and I did with Captain America Civil War as well. When tickets go on sale, do you want me to buy you tickets?
Sir, yes, sir.
Okay, so that Thursday, May 26th, plan on going to see X-Men Apocalypse. Lisa's going to be there, of course. This is the summer film she's most excited for, so she's definitely going to be there. Amber coming or no?
I don't know yet. Possibly.
Let me know. See, tickets haven't gone on sale yet. So when they do, I'll let you know, and then we can decide then what's going on. They have to be on sale soon. We got a month away. Usually these things go on sale around a month beforehand. So I'm sure they'll be on sale soon. But the trailer 3 came out yesterday. Again, we got another sneak peek at Apocalypse and the threat he poses with his 4 horsemen against the characters. We saw the new guys such as Sansa Stark, a.k.a. Sophie Turner, Cyclops, Nightcrawler. They hooked up with all the veterans, Mystique, Charles, all that, and they're going to fight Apocalypse. So overall, I'm going to let you start off with this. I have some notes, and I have a lot of things to say. So I'm going to let you start off.
First off, one of my favorite parts was them showing Apocalypse, I guess without his armor, unmutated, unevolved.
Right. And just to jump in there, I hated that.
You did.
I don't want... it's in our nature to want to unveil the mysteries. We want to know what Darth Vader was like before he was Darth Vader. We want to know Wolverine's origin, how he became Wolverine,
Yeah.
We want to know the backstory, okay? We don't always need to know the backstory. I'm sorry. Like, their talk, they want to do a Boba Fett, origin film. I'm like, no, I don't want that, okay? I don't want a Han Solo origin film that they're coming out with. But it's coming anyway because people want to do the backstories. I'm like, no, I don't need to see how Apocalypse... I can be told. Let me be told how Apocalypse became Apocalypse, but don't show me. It takes sign of the mystery or the infatuation of the character out of it for me.
Yeah, I agree with that. I do. What I liked from it is, one, it kind of struck me as he looks like a Professor Xavier a little bit. And this is played by... I thought he did. Oscar Isaac, bald.
Because he's bald?
Well, dude, his facial structure looked exactly like him, too. So I don't know. I saw a lot of that, and I'm thinking, I don't know if they're going to switch up the story at all. But
they better not. I would be so pissed
between them two. That. Because you already, from the trailer... Xavier gets kidnapped by the 4 horsemen.
Yes,
obviously.
That's another thing I didn't like. I felt like this trailer revealed way too much.
Yeah, you did?
Yeah, out of the 3 trailers, this is my least favorite trailer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think they revealed way too much. Let's just get into the big thing, okay?
Yeah.
Very end of it, schnick. Okay, that's all I got to say about that. Schnick. That was people are referring to that as the Spider-Man moment, because in the Captain America Civil War trailer, at the very end, you got that little bit of Spider-Man for the regular Joe Blows who don't know that Spider-Man was going to be in this film, and they'll be like, "Oh, Spider-Man's in this film. Yeah, well now I want to see this movie, or now I want to see it more." And with X-Men Apocalypse, all the trailers had not shown Wolverine at all. People have been speculating if he was going to be in it. Even at Comic-Con, he Hugh Jackman was asked that question a lot, and he kind of just, laughed it off, which I think it was going to be a first class kind of thing, where we just see him a little bit. I think it might still be the same thing in this. You know me, I don't mind Wolverine. I'm not his biggest fan. Haven't read X-Men for all my life. He's not my favorite character. He's not. There are so many other interesting characters in X-Men. You don't need the crutch of Wolverine, okay? You don't need it. But they think for the general audience, because he's so popular, they do. And you're a Wolverine fan. I know you like seeing him in the film.
So I'm giggling over here.
Exactly, of course. But, I could have gone an entire film without him. I knew he'd have to have some kind of cameo, which is fine. But I just hope he's not in the film that much. Now, based off what I saw in the trailer, they're at some kind of facility. So remember in the original X-Men story, remember, new timeline. Okay, new timeline. Anything, that happened like the first 3 X-Men movies, Wolverine Origins, even the Wolverine, the last Hugh Jackman solo film, never happened.
Yep.
Clean slate. The only films that count at this point are First Class and Days of Future Past. So everything else is a clean slate. So how he got his adamantium inside of him, still up for grabs. But in the film X-Men Origins, okay, and of course in flashbacks of X2, you see he was in that little tube or whatever. They injected the adamantium into him. He came out of it. He went berserker, escaped through the facility, which the facility looked a lot like what we saw at the end of the trailer, of course. So my train of thought is thinking now, what if as he got his adamantium, he was part of the Weapon X program for a while. What if Cyclops and Jean and Nightcrawler set him free? He might feel like he has a little bit of a gratitude towards the X-Men then.
Yeah.
What if Jean Grey's the one that sets him free, and guess what? Oh, there she is. That's my love.
Future love interest.
Exactly. Which, I'm sorry, seeing Sansa Stark and Hugh Jackman as a love interest, no, that doesn't get me. They need to recast Wolverine.
Yeah, he's just getting old, man. He looks.
Exactly.
Sansa looks so innocent.
Exactly what I'm saying. So yeah, Jean looks so young, and then you bring Hugh Jackman, he's going to look so old, and then you're going to think about the two of them together. I'm just like, no, I don't want to think about that.
Oh, well, since we're on that topic now, Jean Grey, I'm not sure the actress's name plays Sansa Stark.
Sophie Turner.
Sophie Turner plays a very dependent character, in my opinion, on Game of Thrones. She depends on a lot of people. She's not very strong on her own. Mm-hmm. Do you feel like she'll be able to capture Jean Grey? What kind of Jean Grey are we going to see in X-Men? Are we going to see the weak, confused Jean Grey? Are we going to see the in-between, which can capture a little bit of both?
Because in X-Men #1, Jean Grey's first appearance, she was very unsure of herself. She's very unsure of her powers because she is so powerful, So I think we're going to get that version of her. Same thing with Cyclops. He's going to be, he was very meek. Yeah. When he first appeared, and they're just discovering their powers. They're unsure of themselves. So I think as their characters grow, and hopefully a couple more films, they'll become stronger characters. And yeah, I think we will see a very strong Jean Grey, 3 films from now. But right now, I think we're gonna her and Cyclops, and even Nightcrawler, as the newbies, are gonna be very unsure of themselves and be very innocent. In that sense, although there was that one shot where Jean Grey was like screaming, and you could see behind her there was stuff going all around.
Yeah.
If maybe they're hinting at the potential of her power, perhaps.
A glimpse of the Phoenix.
A glimpse of the Phoenix, exactly. Because yes, we're in an alternate timeline, but the way they described Jean Grey's Phoenix in the movies is different from the comic book. Comic books, the Phoenix is a space entity that inhabits the body of Jean Grey. In X3, we learned that the Phoenix is actually the full potential power of Jean Grey that Xavier had locked away and had kind of put in a box in Jean Grey's mind and developed its own kind of split personality, is what it is. Mm-hmm. Okay? So that tremendous power, that Phoenix power, is inside of her. And Xavier probably hasn't locked it away yet.
Nope.
Will he in this new continuity? I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But I'm excited for that too, to just see, because Bryan Singer has hinted at that they may give the Dark Phoenix saga another whack, You don't know.
Oh, they have to, man.
I think they have to, because they screwed it up so much with X3.
Yeah, I don't even like talking about that.
After
reading the Phoenix Saga.
Look at that. If you want to go Phoenix Saga, yes, either reread the actual Phoenix Saga or watch the cartoon.
Yeah.
Exactly. But yeah, now that I'm done with my Civil War prep, I've watched the Avengers, Iron Man, Captain America films. Now I'm going to start my X-Men prep. And I'm debating whether I actually want to watch X3 or not. I'm going to watch X1, X2. I'll watch First Class, Days of Future Past. I might skip the Wolverine films. X3, I don't know if I'm going to watch. I'm debating it at this point. I don't know.
I enjoy the characters in X3, but the story altogether, the film as a whole...
I don't want to get into it, but I don't consider that an X-Men movie. And I could sit there and go another hour about that subject matter.
It's almost like a Comic-Con convention. The whole film is just basically a documentary of a Comic-Con
people who
convention.
try to be the characters, but they're really not. Exactly.
With no story.
All right, so let's just go. I got a couple notes. Let's go into it. So with this trailer as well, and I've commented on this before, with Jennifer Lawrence being this big name now, the reason the character Mystique is so big in the X-Men movies is because she's played by Jennifer Lawrence, I think.
Yeah.
And this trailer felt very Mystique-centered. I mean, you learn that Charles is going to get captured and that Mystique is probably going to be the one to have to train young Cyclops and Jean to go stop Apocalypse and his horsemen and stuff like that. And I'm just like, why? I mean, I get it. She's in the movie. She's got to take a big role because she's Jennifer Lawrence, but centering it around her, here's the only thing I get it. And I've talked about this earlier, where if they take it where she's going to take more of a lead in this, where she's going to take more of a hero role, and then she sacrifices herself at the end and she dies, I'm okay with that. But if they're just stepping her up there because it's Jennifer Lawrence and she's going to, just survive by the end of it, I'm not cool with that.
Yeah, I agree with that statement. I don't like Jennifer Lawrence as Mystique. I haven't in any of the films.
Really?
I don't
mind her because it's a young Mystique.
That was helping appeal to me. But throughout these films, she's just too soft, man. She's too soft for me, physically, personality-wise. It's just...
I think in Days of Future Past, we got a better glimpse of her, in that kind of
side.
That's I want to say suicidal or assassin side of her, I guess. Yeah. And we saw that, but in this one, again, it looks like she's taking a step back in this one to be, less evil or less manipulative. She's going to be more good, really.
And maybe, forgive me, but maybe it's just because it's the whole Hunger Game thing. It kind of just reminds me of her character from Hunger Games. But
yeah, that's true. I got you.
But it just doesn't... I've always found Mystique kind of intimidating, but, sexy at the same time. Even though she is blue. There's a lot of depth for that character.
That's the thing about Mystique too. Is that she can be anybody you want her to be.
Yeah.
So I'm like,
that's nice.
I'm not saying anything. I'm just saying to be nice for my wife to shape into any actress I want her to be. So I'm not saying it out loud. She doesn't listen to the show anyway, so it doesn't matter what I say.
Hear about this. How about the whole idea that she has not been in character full time. This last trailer barely showed her as Mystique.
Well, of course.
And I guess you want to show off Jennifer Lawrence's face, but then it kind of contradicts the line that she said in Days of Future Past, I believe it was.
Mutant and Proud.
Mutant and Proud.
Yeah.
I'd like to stay this way, show it off. And then,
well, that's how she was at the end of First Class. At the end of Days of Future Past, she was more about like, oh, I'm done with this. I just want to live a normal life. And from what I've heard, in kind of the setup for this, is Mystique and Magneto after Days of Future Past, they both tried to go on to live normal lives.
Okay.
Mystique has gone on, allegedly, I think, to form a group to help mutants, kind of, just different from what Charles is doing. And then to get in Magneto a little bit, he actually started a family.
Yeah.
And this trailer, you see that he loses said family.
Yep.
And that's kind of probably what starts him down the dark path to join Apocalypse as well. Now, the family that he has, I'm very curious about, because we're going to get into the family as well, that other part of the trailer. But in the comics, he has 3 kids. He has Scarlet Witch, he has Quicksilver, and he has Polaris. We've already seen Quicksilver, and given that Scarlet Witch is so dominant in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, I don't think we're going to see her at all.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think we're going to see her at all. But Polaris, who also has magnetic powers just like him, is up for grabs. So what if this family he started was a wife and a daughter, and somewhere down the line we find out his daughter survived?
Wow.
Polaris. Boom.
Yeah, man. I mean, that's a great...
That's my thought, I guess. I think that's what I'm thinking.
I didn't know that about Polaris. I don't know why I thought she was...
Yeah, remember in House of M?
I thought she was a muggle.
I think you're switching your genres and your franchises here a little bit, okay? But yeah, remember in House of M, you have that. The House of M was Scarlet Witch, Magneto, Quicksilver, Polaris, you know?
Okay.
And that was an alternate reality even still.
Yeah,
so,
that's right.
But there you go. But yeah. All right, so let's see what else I got on my show notes here. Talked about the Egypt scene, how I wasn't a big fan of seeing his Apocalypse's origins. Taking the mutants' powers. I'm curious what that's about. Whether he's taking their powers to feed his own, or whether he can actually use their powers. I don't know. They didn't really explain that too much. I don't think it's not a power he has in the comic books. I know.
Yeah, that makes me get this like Dracula or Blade Dracula vibe. But you remember Dracula, how he was like the vampire of all vampires and he could do everything.
Yeah.
And I don't know why I'm getting that same vibe with Apocalypse. Just this ability to take on any ability of his followers.
I don't think it's gonna happen. I think more it's like sucking the energy out of him to feed himself. But yeah, I got you. So there's that. The other thing. Oh yes, when Nightcrawler poofed Mystique out, and then he says, "You're her." Now there could be two ways you could read that. One way you could read that as, "You're her, Mystique," the infamous mutant who tried to, kill the president or whatever, from Days of Future Past and stuff, or "You're her" as in, "You're my mother." Because in the comics, Mystique is Nightcrawler's mother.
What? I forgot about that.
I think it's the first one, really, given the age, I mean, who knows what, Mystique did, in between, First Class and Days of Future Past, because, remember, this movie's set 10 years after Days of Future Past, which was set 10 years after First Class. So in that time, you could have Mystique, go away from Magneto, where Magneto got arrested for the Kennedy assassination. She's on her own. Maybe she does hook up with somebody, has a baby, leaves it on the steps of the monastery, which was what happens in the comics. Okay, and then that kid grows up, and of course here we are, 15, 16 years later, and turns out she has a son.
What is up with these mutant parents abandoning their kids?
I know, right? Magneto, Mystique, they're bad people. What are you going to do, what are you going to do? Although, according to the movies, Mystique is a good person, but that's neither here nor there. Speaking of parents and Magneto, Quicksilver came out and said it.
Yeah.
They hinted at it in Days of Future Past, and he went out and said, "He's my father." Did not like that.
They revealed a lot in this trailer.
They
really
gave
did.
you too much in this trailer. That's what I'm saying. They hinted at it, and then people who didn't know it were told about it, so you get it. Like, if they talked about it, they hinted at that in Days of Future Past, where he's like, my mom knew a guy who could move metal. And the general audience had to ask somebody what they were talking about. So whoever is interested in this film should know that piece of information by now. But this is like spoon feeding it to them,
Yeah.
Which is, I think,
unnecessary.
It's ridiculous. Exactly. Unnecessary.
For a laugh.
Yeah. I know they had the laugh where like, her, like, I get it, but it was too much, Like I said, I think they just revealed too much. They were like, it's why it's my least favorite trailer so far. But what else I got? Oh yes, I commented on this last trailer, the classic Storm versus Cyclops fight, because there's a classic X-Men issue where they fight over leadership of the X-Men, and it looks like from the last trailer and this trailer, Cyclops and Storm are going to be going against each other. The lightning versus the laser. You have the. Do you like how I did that?
I like that.
Do you like how I did that? Boom.
Lightning versus the laser.
That wasn't off the top of my head. It's in my show notes. Look, see, lightning versus laser.
You had to quote that.
It's right there, right? So
Big
yeah,
bold letters.
so those two are going to face off against each other. They're both fairly new characters, probably inexperienced. Storm probably has the upper hand because she's endowed with powers by Apocalypse. But you know what, my boy Cyclops, he'll get it done. He'll get it done.
Here we are.
Here's what's going to happen. He's going to take down Storm, and then he's going to be like, "What's up?" And he's going to grab Jean Grey and plant one on her. Boom.
I'm thinking about the line that Cyclops dropped. He said, "What if we can't control our powers?" It was like a big, beacon of worry, weakness from him. It just like
because he's young.
Yeah.
Because when he's young, that's his worry. Is that if he opens his eyes, he's going to kill somebody or kill a lot of people.
I'm just not intimidated by the laser beams coming out of his eyeballs.
Oh, son! After everything you've read in X-Men so far, come on. Which, by the way, you never finished Astonishing X-Men, which is a really big boom moment for Cyclops too, where he does some damage as well.
The Wolverine in me didn't allow me to read that, but sorry, man.
You haven't gotten to it yet. I'm gonna give it to you, man. I got my stacks of books out there. I want you to take the Astonishing X-Men home and be like, oh yeah, Cyclops is awesome. But
all right.
So I think I got a couple things here. The last thing on my notes is the mansion being destroyed. We saw it in the last trailer too, where Cyclops was running up to a big like a bomb had gone off as well, and it looked like the mansion was exploded. I said that wrong. My English is horrible. The mansion has exploded. And in this one, too, you see several scenes where the ground is coming up, the bookshelves are coming out, and the mansion probably is going to be destroyed, which, in true X-Men fashion, I'm okay with, because I can't tell you how many times the X-Mansion has been destroyed.
I'm just used to seeing the mansion as a big pile of rubble.
It really
and the X-Men are standing over it trying to figure out their next move.
Exactly, yes.
That's what I picture when I think of the mansion.
Exactly, yes. So the mansion will probably be destroyed, and at least it'll be something that'll be from the comic books. So I'm okay with that.
You think we won't see Colossus in this, will we?
No, I don't think so. He wasn't. I mean, he's not hinted at. Yeah. The actor, no. Plus, considering they already used him in Deadpool.
Yeah.
As well, so I don't think we need him. I think we'll see him eventually in these movies, but he's not going to be. What has to happen at this point is Deadpool is set in present day. This movie's set in the 80s.
Oh, so he's considered a newer X-Man.
Exactly. So what's going to happen, I think, is it's going to take at least one more X film after this, set in like the 90s or early 2000s, and then in the next X-Men film after that, they'll probably have been caught up by then, and then they can hook up with Deadpool, I guess.
I see.
At least that's my sense of it. But yeah. But anything else you want to say about the trailer? We've talked about that for a while.
Yeah, man, I'm good. I'm excited about it.
Cool. All right, so let's talk about a couple other trailers that came out. Another trailer for the film Warcraft by Universal Pictures and Legendary Pictures has come out, based off the blockbuster video game by Blizzard Entertainment and directed by Duncan Jones. The film comes out June 10th, stars Travis Fimmel, Paula Patton, Ben Foster, Dominic Cooper, Toby Kebbell, and Daniel Wu. Now, the storyline of it all is that in the peaceful realm of Azeroth, I think I said that right, I have no idea, I've never played the game, stands on the brink of war as its civilization faces a fearsome race of invaders. Orc warriors fleeing their dying home to colonize another. As a portal opens to connect the two worlds, one army faces destruction and the other faces extinction. From opposing sides, two heroes are set on a collision course that will decide the fate of their family, their people, and their home. Whatever.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of how I feel. It's good.
I will tell you this. This is like the third trailer we've gotten for Warcraft, okay?
Yeah.
This should have been the first trailer. This is my favorite trailer so far, but it felt a lot more like a teaser trailer than what the other ones were. Because it gave you the setup, but didn't give you a whole lot.
Yeah,
now,
I agree with that.
Like I said, I'm still not sure if I'm going to go see this in the theaters or not, just because everything I've seen of it has turned me off, except for this trailer. If I knew nothing about this film and I just saw this teaser, I'd be like, well, I kind of want to go see that.
Yeah.
But I got two trailers before that disappointed me and made me not want to go see it.
And I can agree with that. I agree with that 100%. Disappointed by the first two trailers. This one was by far my favorite. It looks cool to me strictly the fact I played the game.
I've never played it before at all.
I'm a fan of the game. I'm not excited they're making a movie off of it. I'm curious to see what they're going to go with as far as a plot. But
well, I just told you the plot.
But I mean, I know that. But I mean, as far as like the actual
characters,
I just picture it's gonna be a really cool war film, almost like a Lord of the Rings. Just if you had all the battles, just a battle in Middle Earth, basically.
To me, that's what's turning me off is the special effects. The special effects don't look as good as they should be to bring these fantasy characters to life. I feel like they don't look as good. Maybe I think they use too much CGI.
Well, if you ever played the game, they had these short films that would, even commercials for the game, that look exactly like this. The only thing different is that they're putting in, live action effects as well. So the combination of the two is weird to me. I would have preferred if they just made this an animated film.
Yeah.
Or a film.
It wouldn't reach a massive audience, I think.
True.
As an animated film,
True.
But
and it probably wouldn't be equal to the name. The value of the name.
Yeah, I got you. Whatever.
Yeah, it looks cool.
I mean, are you gonna go see it?
No.
No?
Redbox.
Okay.
Redbox. That's what I'm going to do.
Yeah, I know. All right. I don't know. If it comes out and there's good things about it, I may go see it like that second weekend or so. But as of right now, I'm not thinking about it. The thing about it is, though, is this is a pivotal film for the video game movie genre. A lot of people are depending on this for not only the video game genre, but also fantasy film genre to help bring it back. And then also this and Assassin's Creed, starring Michael Fassbender. Those are the two video game movies coming out that a lot of people are pushing on to be good, so it can open the floodgates for more video game movies to come out. Because in some people's minds, there's no good video game movie that has come out yet. And for that, I will say to you, good sir, Mortal Kombat, the original film.
Tomb Raider for me, man.
Tomb Raider, exactly. Wasn't too bad. The first one was good. The second one, I don't think I ever saw because it didn't look interested, but whatever. Okay, so let's move it on because we got a lot of stuff. I don't think we're going to make it through everything. But the final trailer we're going to talk about is Independence Day Resurgence. That's right. Those pesky aliens are back 20 years later. And so is the cast. We got Jeff Goldblum, Bill Pullman, Judd Hirsch, Vivica A. Fox, Brett Spiner. All of them coming back, joined by some young cast as well, led by Liam Hemsworth. And let's see here. The aliens are coming back. Since then, mankind has adapted, used the old remnants of the alien technology to try to better defend themselves. But what we learned from this trailer is they're still not prepared. The film comes out June 24th and is directed by the man who directed Independence Day, Roland Emmerich. Yeah. I find it weird they're coming out on June 24th because the first Independence Day movie, of course, set on Independence Day, came out July 2nd. And I remember going to see it on July 2nd, the day it came out, too. But yeah, why they're coming out with it so early, they just need to come out with it closer, I think, to Independence Day. But
is there anything else coming out in July?
Not around that date, I don't think.
Okay.
Not that I know of.
I wonder if there's a competition.
Yeah, so this trailer, I liked it better than the first one. The first trailer I was not really a fan of. This one I liked better. Made me want to go see the film. So.
Yeah, I'm gonna go see the film just based off the title.
Based off Independence Day. It's Independence Day.
Yeah.
Given our love,
Jeff Goldblum, man.
Given our love for the first one, I'm still bummed out that Will Smith is not in the film, of course. But and there's a couple corny lines in it as well. You have the guy in there, I don't know the actor's name, who played his son, who's now a fighter pilot like his dad, and he tries to deliver that line where it's like, "It's 4th of July, let's show it some fireworks." I'm like, no, you're not Will Smith. You can't pull it off like Will Smith does. Don't try to be Will Smith in this film, otherwise you're going to fail.
I wonder if it was even an idea. If they couldn't get Will Smith, let's get his son.
Jaden
hasn't done anything in a while.
Oh, God, no.
I like Jaden, dude.
I would boycott this film if Jaden was in it.
No, dude, Jaden, I love Karate Kid, man. Jaden's a mini Will Smith.
In a sense that he's his son, yes. In a sense that he's a good actor, no.
Yeah.
No, not even close. Not even. If Jaden was in this film, I would boycott it, definitely. Okay. So, but anyway, the rest of it, like I said, it looks better. I think the Will Smith type character we're gonna get is Liam Hemsworth, actually, because he's on a mission with Jeff Goldblum's character, which kind of like what they did in it.
Will Smith, the original.
He plays a fighter pilot, and I think the more likely Will Smith replacement is going to be Liam Hemsworth, which I don't think is going to work either, because from what I've seen of Liam Hemsworth, he can't do funny either. He can't pull off those quips.
Nah.
So
Jeff Goldblum's funny. But here's the point that I want to make here. How Independence, what really captured my imagination, what really attracted me to the original, why I love it so much, is this ability that it's aliens entering our world. So obviously you're going to have this realistic take on an alien invasion. It seems like with us developing, taking the technology, the second film, the sequel is going to be, it's going to be creative with all the type of devices that you're seeing, the technology you're seeing. Are you prepared to look at this film as a fun action
Yeah, of course,
flick?
of course. I mean, you really have to, because obviously we don't have that technology in our world. So you have to, I was thinking about this as I was watching the trailer yesterday, is like, you have to look at it as it's an alternate reality. Because in that reality, the aliens attacked, and they spent 20 years in a different mindset than what our reality is. So you have to look at it differently. So I'm going to walk into it, thinking of it, as different, because it's present day, but it's a different present day.
It's a different universe.
Luckily, years of reading comic books and alternate realities and multiverses has prepared me for this mindset. So
yes.
I'm all set. Okay, we're good. All right, guys. So moving on to our next topic, Josh is taking a break because I am joined right now by the resident Doctor Who expert, Lourdes Manning. Lourdes, thanks for coming on the show.
Hey, no problem.
All right. So some news broke last week in the world of Doctor Who is that they have cast the new companion for the upcoming 10th season. Actress Pearl Mackie is going to be the new companion, taking place for Jenna Coleman, who departed late last year. Now, the 10th season of Doctor Who is also going to be Stephen Moffat's last season as showrunner, who is handing the reins off to Broadchurch executive producer Chris Chibnall. Did I say that right?
Chibnall, yeah.
Chibnall? Okay, cool.
He's awesome.
Okay, well, there we go. See, good fans. Now, as I said earlier, I'm not a Doctor Who fan. I'm my superheroes in Star Wars, so that's why I have to have people on the show here who cover things that I don't. Josh likes Walking Dead, and of course Lourdes is a huge Doctor Who fan. If you looked at her bedroom, you could see it's covered in Doctor Who. So I'll refer to her expertise on this. But just going off, let's start off with last season, The Last Companion and Jenna Coleman's departure. How'd you feel about that? Did you like her? Were you sad to see her go?
I was sad to see her go. Jenna Coleman had such a huge arc, and I really, like every companion, some people hate her, some people love her, but I loved her. I loved her as she started as the Impossible Girl with Matt Smith. I loved her as the governess in The Snowman, and I loved her when she started with Capaldi. I wasn't really sure how she was going to do with Capaldi in season 8. Season 8 was good, but it really wasn't. But they were kind of just getting together, that was how they were.
Because Capaldi was it. When did he start?
8.
Okay,
It was
exactly.
his first season as well, and I've always loved him, and I figured he'd make a really great Doctor, which he really has. Mm-hmm. But season 9, this last season, I think was really the epitome. They were so good together, and Jenna was just really badass. She was just given a lot to do. She kind of became the Doctor, and her ending was heart-wrenching and then fabulous, because Moffat.
Okay.
Basically, he kind of killed her and killed you at the same time, and then he kind of sort of brought her back, and then she's gone. But who knows? She may be back. She's out traveling.
Yeah,
in the TARDIS
in the world of Doctor Who, that's definitely a possibility.
Yeah, she's out traveling in the TARDIS with Maisie Williams. Who knows where they're going to end up?
So, do you know this Pearl Mackie at all? Are
you know what? I don't. I understand she hasn't done a lot of TV, mostly theater. Mm-hmm. But I think she looks really good. And some people are not really sure. They really wanted maybe a male companion or maybe an android companion.
An android.
Yeah. Or something like that. There was one at one point. But you really have to have a girl, I think. I mean, and you need, every piece of literature needs a Bechdel test, needs to pass the Bechdel test, where one or two women together speaking have to have conversations not about the man.
Okay, not just as a love interest,
not just as a
yeah.
love interest, exactly. A smart woman, an independent woman, and you really kind of need a woman, I think, to just be the foil for the Doctor. And Pearl, her name's gonna be Bill on the show.
Bill.
We don't know what that's about.
Okay.
She's supposed to be from South London, which I guess she actually is from South London.
Well, that's good.
Which is kind of cool. But I think she looks like she's going to be like an everyday kind of girl, kind of speaking our language. And that might, help. Of course, Doctor Who fans range from 8-year-olds through, past 60 like me. So, we really run the gamut. But I think I'm excited about it. I think it's probably going to be good. I don't know what direction Moffat's going to take it in. I just have no idea.
Yeah, I mean, it's his last season. Do you think he'll try to go all out, or maybe just, treat it like any other season?
Yeah, I don't see how he can do a big arc when it's only going to be one season. And we don't know for sure if Capaldi's going to stay another season.
That's what I was going to ask too. Yeah. I mean, isn't he? There was talks that he might leave as well.
Yeah, he might. We don't know. That hasn't been settled one way or the other. I think it would be great if he would stay. If not, at least the companion will, and the companion will go on, with the next.
I got you with the next actor,
whatever the next Doctor might be. But I'm hoping the two of them will have a couple of seasons together.
Yeah.
Chris Chibnall writes different. He's different from Moffat, but he's great. Some of my favorite episodes he has written.
I was gonna say he's been on the show for a while too, like help with the show too, right?
Yeah. Well, and he was a teenage fan, so he really knows the show inside and out. But he wrote dinosaurs on a spaceship, which I love. It's fanciful, but it's great. You know, he wrote The Power of Three, which a lot of people don't like, but I think it's awesome. He wrote some really cool Matt Smith episodes that I really like. So, and he knows TV. You know, he's done Broadchurch, a lot of other things.
A couple other things. It seems.
So, I think it's going to be a.
Really it looks like it's going to be in good hands, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Cool.
So we're looking for good things from Pearl, Bill. But I think you need somebody like that with the Doctor. You don't want it to get too serious, and just two men traveling in the TARDIS.
Yeah, well, I mean, on the other side of that as well, I mean, there are some people who think maybe at some point Doctor Who should be a woman. I mean,
yeah.
Do you think that, or?
Yeah, you know, I don't know. It's even though I love having women on the show and I love strong women in shows, that's kind of a hard one. I mean, I've been watching since the 60s. It's kind of hard to think of Doctor as a woman, but
even just changing maybe races, like, you know, an African American or something.
Oh, I think that ought to come first, maybe
before a woman.
Yeah, maybe. Okay. Oh, now we have a female master.
Well, you know, we got a black president first, so let's get a black Doctor Who first.
That's right. And now we have a female master, so we know what that's like.
Okay.
You know, and Missy's really cool. Michelle Williams. No, that's not her name. Michelle Gomez. She's really, really great as a master. So we know that it can be done by a woman for sure. But I would think maybe they might go with, you know, a black person first. But I don't know, you know, whatever. If as long as they keep the show going the way it is, inventive and, you know, keep it fun.
Yeah, it still seems to be going strong. People seem to like it, of course. So that'd be cool. Well, Lourdes, thanks for coming on and talking Doctor Who with us. And of course, if there's any big changes that come with Whovians, come on, and you're more than welcome to share your feelings on it. Okay.
All right, great. Thanks.
Man. So Terminator Genesis came out last summer, and it kind of got mixed responses. It was not a hit with critics. People were disappointed with it, but it still made more than $440 million worldwide. But since then, creative officer over at Skydance has said that they want to kind of readjust the plans for their Terminator sequels and franchises, but it looks like it might be a little harder to do, considering that's Emilia Clarke, who plays Sarah Connor and also is on Game of Thrones as well, has came out and said in an interview that she does not want to play Sarah Connor again. She says, "What, can I say that? It's okay. No, but I do have some very different roles coming up." So after one film, she's quitting the franchise. I'm not sure what kind of contract she was under. I know she does have a kind of romantic film coming out as well that actually looks not too bad. But, you know, maybe she was disappointed with that film as well. Maybe the process of making it. But she's leaving it, and I'm kind of disappointed about it because I thought she played a great Sarah Connor despite what the rest of the film was. You didn't see Terminator Genesis, did you?
No, I saw, I would say about 3/4 of it. Didn't finish it.
Oh, okay. Did you turn it off or just...
No, I just ran out of time.
Okay.
We were, and I hadn't had a chance to completely watch all over again. But I was watching it with Amber, and we both agreed that we liked it. What we saw, and that was entertaining, a lot more entertaining than we expected. I think we both went in there with the mindset this wasn't going to be a very good movie.
Yeah, I got you.
And a little cheesy. And it was a little cheesy, but entertaining. Mm-hmm. I thought she did a good job. Yeah, I mean, I learned not to be surprised with decisions actors.
And you know, was it you? I think it was you or it was Lisa that was here when I was talking about the Terminator franchise, where, you know, it's so popular. It's one of the more infamous sci-fi franchises. Mm-hmm. But I'm going to be honest, there's only one good Terminator film. Terminator Judgment Day. Yes, the first film started it off, but it was a B-rated sci-fi film. If you look back at it, it was that classic 80s B sci-fi film. The effects weren't that good. It was kind of cheesy a little bit, a little melodramatic. And then you had Terminator 2 Judgment Day, which was a blockbuster. It really turned the franchise around to become a juggernaut. But since then, Terminator 3, not really, beloved. Terminator Salvation, let's not mention that. And then Terminator Genesis came with mixed reviews to where they want to revamp it even still. So really, when you're talking about how great the Terminator franchise is, I say no. Terminator franchise isn't great. Terminator 2 Judgment Day is great.
Yeah, and I'm almost like, trying to figure out where they would go from here. They've revamped it.
They tried to take the X-Men Star Trek route where they're trying to go into an alternate reality and make things fresh. Yeah. But if they're trying to retool it again, I mean they can from where they ended the film, I wasn't happy with it, but they can still continue on. It just, you got to make this character and the stories and everything, just make it a little better, I think.
And I can't even decide what I want to see more of in the next Terminator film. Do I want to see the present, day, the 90s, the 80s, base story, or do I want to see, Skynet in the future? Do I want to see a movie that revolves completely around this?
We had that. It was called Terminator Salvation.
No, I know.
Nobody liked it.
And exactly. I'm wondering if they want to do that again, or I don't even know what I want to see from this franchise. So.
I agree with that. Honestly, I think they just need to take about a 10, 20-year break.
Yeah,
and then come back to it. I think, honestly.
Right?
I think they need to quit relying on Arnold as well. They're like, oh, you can't do it without Arnold. Yes, you can, okay? A franchise is not dependent on one actor, okay? Especially if it's good, If you make a good Terminator film, even if it has Arnold in it or not, it's still a good film. So, yeah. All right, so probably the last thing we're going to talk about today, it is official that Robert Downey Jr. has signed on to be in the newest Spider-Man film coming out in 2017, Spider-Man Homecoming. It was talked about last week that Michael Keaton was in talks to possibly play a villain in the film, and since then it has been said that he has dropped out as well. But it was confirmed that Robert Downey Jr. will reprise his role as Tony Stark. To what capacity, we don't know of, but now that Spider-Man is in the MCU, I think you're going to see a lot of characters popping up in Spider-Man films, and see Spider-Man pop up in other films as well. So, but that's cool. But also people are questioning now, since he's doing this film and probably wasn't in his original contract when he re-signed to do Avengers Infinity War and the other Avengers films and all that, is this beginning of a third contract, perhaps? Or is it just a one-shot thing? No.
I like to think that Robert Downey Jr. gets so amped from making these Marvel movies that he decides, midway through to change up the contract. I'm thinking Civil War is going to be so awesome. He had so much fun making the movie. He had to come on for another one.
Could be.
The combination of him and Spidey, man. It's,
it is cool because when you go to the Civil War storyline, him and Tony kind of developed that bond where Peter saw Tony as kind of a mentor, and in the comic books you have the basic Civil War miniseries. And then you have all these offshoots as well, dealing with other side characters. If I were to recommend two kind of Civil War offshoots, I would recommend the Spider-Man storyline and the Fantastic Four storyline. The Spider-Man being the most interesting, definitely. Just because the fact that in the original storyline, he does kind of latch on to Tony as a mentor character, which he never really had. And then Tony convinces him to reveal himself to the public, and then he goes against Tony, and then is on the run from not only all the villains that now know who he is, but also the heroes as well. Very interesting storyline, but their relationship, if they play that mentor-mentee kind of mentality, I think it'd be very interesting, especially if they eventually have a falling out like they did in the comics too.
Yeah, I can't say how excited I am that Marvel has Spider-Man, dude. They're going to make a Spider-Man movie.
You think Fantastic Four is next? You think they're going to bring Fantastic Four back in the mold? After Fox screwed up another Fantastic Four movie?
I want to see these executives just hand it over to Marvel. Like, look, we screwed up, guys. We're sorry. We're bad people. We want to do good. Here you are.
Well, again,
make a good movie.
I mean, again, it's under the contract. I mean, what happened with Spider-Man was that, Sony was kind of in trouble financially, and Marvel took advantage of that to make a deal to get Spider-Man back, essentially. Yeah. Fox isn't in financial trouble because mainly their X-Men films are doing great as well, but their Fantastic Four has floundered. So whether they can strike that same kind of deal with Fox, I don't think so. But remember, if Fox doesn't start production on another Fantastic Four film within the next year or two, then rights automatically go back to Marvel. That's what happened with Punisher, Daredevil, Blade. Fox didn't make a movie or a TV series or something in time, so the rights went back to Marvel. Thank God they did, because we got something that was Daredevil Season 2, which was phenomenal. So I'm hoping that happens again. Bring the Fantastic Four back into the mold. They don't have to be in the same universe. They can be their own offshoot. But like I've always said, in the Marvel comic book world, the X-Men they've always been separate from the rest of the Marvel Universe. You can leave them by themselves and do their own thing, and I think you'll be okay. Fantastic Four has interacted more with the Avengers, so I think bringing them back into the fold, putting them in New York with the other heroes, would be a good idea. But if they don't, I'm not going to be disappointed. I just want to see a good Fantastic Four movie or TV series or something at least.
Netflix series next.
Maybe the thing is it's the money issue. I mean, it's going to take a lot to have the Human Torch and the Thing
True, yeah.
to the full extent of their powers, how they should be portrayed and look on screen, and that's just something you can't do with a TV series. It's got to be a film to get that kind of look right, I guess.
Let's do the. Let's go the cheap route. Let's go the 1980s. What'd you say earlier? B-rated
God.
science.
There
science
is. They
sci-fi
did
way.
they did that 1990s movie, which you can only find at like conventions, and now I think you can find on YouTube. Where like when Johnny Storm said "Flame on," he went from a live action character to totally animated character.
Oh, he did.
Actually,
I thought they really lit a guy on fire.
I know. That would actually be cool. That would be awesome, but I don't think they're going to do that. But anyway, so yeah. All right, guys. Well, we have run out of time today. I got a lot more things I wanted to talk about, but of course, we went on and on about Game of Thrones and X-Men, which I'm fine with. That's cool. I like to talk about that stuff. But that's going to be it for us today. If you guys have anything else you want to talk to us about, hit us up, dayspringdiscussions@gmail.com, or hit us up on social media on Twitter or the Facebook group. You can find me as well, Slim, S-L-Y-M, Dayspring12, at Instagram and Twitter. Josh, where can they find you?
Instagram, I am Batman247. And I want to ask something of the audience, our listeners out there.
Uh-oh. Careful now.
I want to hear Game of Thrones theories, man. So let's see let's get something going what do you think? What episode do you think Jon Snow's coming back?
Ooh, that's a good question. Okay.
What episode?
All right, yes.
You had to put your money on it. How many episodes in this season? You got 13?
Yeah, there's 10.
10.
Which goes in I totally forgot to mention, of course, they renewed it for season 7 already. Of course, remember, season 7 and season 8 aren't going to be full season. There might only be 7 episodes or 6 episodes as well.
Yeah. Shorter seasons.
But I like that question. When is Jon Snow coming back? What episode, whether it be this season or next season, do you think Jon Snow will return? Do you want to think about it and give your answer?
Okay. Let's do this on Facebook. Join
it on Facebook. We'll come back at the beginning of next show because I'm sure we'll talk about episode 2 a little bit, and we'll get into that and we'll give our predictions and maybe see what people who listen to this show have come up with as well. So we'll go from there. Okay. All right, guys. Well, that'll be it for us for this week. Until next time, same bat channel.